Good, good morning, Your Honor. And do you have a preference? Did you want me to follow along with you, or would you like to take those who need me at the end?
I'm gonna do the extradition hearings at the end. I don't think any inmates need an interpreter for the extradition, but I'm gonna take them in the order that's on the calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna go ahead and swear you in. If you, Ms. Toes, if you state your full name for the record, your full name for the record for me.
Two Tolls,
Okay, and state your position.
court certified interpreter.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully translate from English? I guess is it Spanish? I believe Spanish to English.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah, Spanish into English in these proceedings before the court in an accurate manner to the best of your skills and knowledge.
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm going to swear each inmate interview. Please raise your right hand. Good morning. My name is Judge Tamika West. I'm a Magistrate Court Judge in Clayton County. I will be presiding over your first appearance hearing this morning. Okay, I see everyone has their right hand up. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the information that you've included on your application for court-appointed counsel, as well as the information that you give to the court today, will be true and accurate?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then for the record, we are live streaming the first appearance. So at this time, I believe the jail has requested that we take inmate Williams first. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Okay, well, let me make my opening remarks and then I will take inmate Williams.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Again, my name is Judge Tamika West. This is your first appearance before Magistrate Court of Clayton County. We are not here to try your case today or to take a plea. We are here for the court to inform you of the charges against you, advise you of certain rights, set bail on those offenses for which the court is authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you choose to give up this right, anything you say during these proceedings may be used against you if your case goes to trial. During these proceedings and all other proceedings, you have the right to the presumption of innocence until the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or accusations for misdemeanors. You also have the right to a speedy and public trial by jury. You have the right to see, hear, and cross-examine all witnesses that are called to testify against you. You have the right to compel the attendance of witnesses in your own behalf by subpoena. You also have the right to testify and offer other evidence in your own defense, should you choose to do so. But should you choose not to do so, no presumption of your guilt may be raised. You also have the right to have an attorney represent you. If you qualify for a court-appointed attorney, we will appoint an attorney to represent you. Some of you have been allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail pending prosecution of the case, which may be by cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond in cash, together with any applicable mandated fees to the sheriff's office, who will hold it until your final court date, at which time the cash bond will be returned to the person who posted it. If you use a commercial bonding company approved by the sheriff, someone will have to pay the company up to 15% of the total bond amount as their fee for their service. This fee will not be returned. Someone may post a bond using their property if they have net equity in the property in an amount equal to 3 times the total bond amount. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond order that prohibit you from going to certain places or contacting certain people. This is a special condition that will be provided on your bond order. You will also be prohibited from calling or having contact with the alleged victim while you're in jail. Should you violate the court's order, your bond order will be revoked and you will not be entitled to another bond while awaiting trial. An additional charge of aggravated stalking, influencing witnesses, or other charges as the law may provide could be brought against you, for which you could be sentenced up to 10 years in prison, and fined up to $20,000. For family members who will assist in posting bond, they will be provided with information regarding your bond amount after we have concluded the first appearance calendar for this morning. If a family member is an alleged victim on the warrant and there is a special condition that you're to have no contact with the family member, he or she will not be allowed to post the bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is simply not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a Superior Court judge, and you will be informed of that date at your first appearance today. If you're currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond. Your bond can be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to determine if they wish to file a warrant for violation of your probation, usually during your preliminary hearing. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine if there is enough evidence or probable cause to justify keeping you detained until such time as your case goes to trial. For those of you charged with misdemeanors only, you will have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. Waiving your preliminary hearing will not affect your rights to post bond, your right to have an attorney represent you, or your right to a jury trial. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived, and you will be mailed a notice of when to appear in state court for arraignment. If you cannot make bond, you may waive your preliminary hearing and be taken before a state court judge, at which time, if you plead guilty, you will be sentenced. If you plead not guilty, a trial will be scheduled on your behalf. If you choose to have a misdemeanor preliminary hearing, the hearing will be scheduled for September the 13th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. For those of you charged with felony offenses, you will not have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. Your preliminary hearing will be scheduled for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. That will conclude my opening remarks. At this time, I will take the first inmate. Deputies, you can proceed. State your full name for the record for me.
Okay,
Mr. Williams, you charged with 2 offenses, specifically battery and kidnapping. Your bond amount for the battery is $6,000, and then your bond amount for the kidnapping is $10,000. Okay, that means your total bond amount is $16,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, and I ask that you not take this as a joke. This is very serious, so please treat it as such. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. Do you understand that to be your next court date, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you complete an application for court-appointed counsel? Can you recall?
Not for the day, Your Honor. He did on a Monday.
Oh, he did on Monday? Because I don't see a separate one for him. Okay. I think I have the paperwork here for Monday. Because I believe the charge of kidnapping deputies was a new charge that wasn't on the previous counsel form, and looks like he was approved. You were approved for court-appointed counsel on Monday. So I'll need to add the additional charges to your court-appointed counsel form. So you were approved on Monday for court-appointed counsel for the other charges. So you will still qualify for court-appointed counsel for the additional charges. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that will conclude your first appearance. Do you have any questions?
I got a question. I like to hear them, man. It's just...
Okay, sir, that's not appropriate, but you have a nice day. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we're gonna do the female inmates first. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, state your full name for the record for me.
Bobby Marissa Felton.
Okay, Ms. Felton, you've been charged with 2 offenses, specifically defective headlight and violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. Your bond amount for the defective headlight is $500. Your bond amount for violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act is $7,500. Therefore, your total bond amount is $8,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes.
Can you make bond?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that that's your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
Yes.
Okay, based upon your responses on your application, unfortunately, you do not qualify for court-appointed counsel. Therefore, you will have to hire your own attorney. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have any questions?
No.
Thank you. Okay, state your full name for the record for me.
Jolicia Samaya Monique McDowell.
You said McDowell?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Miss McDowell, give me your middle name.
Samaya Monique.
Okay. You've been charged with 3 offenses. The first offense is failure to stop or yield at a stop sign. The second charge is DUI, alcohol less safe, and the third charge is possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Your bond amount for the traffic violation is $500. Your bond amount for the DUI is $5,000. And then your bond amount for the possession of marijuana less than an ounce is $1,500. Therefore, your total bond amount is $7,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 13th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing or keep it on the calendar?
No, ma'am.
So you would like to keep it on the calendar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And it appears that you completed a request for court-appointed counsel. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So based on your application, you do qualify for court-appointed counsel, so I will approve the request. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ms. McDowell.
Thank you.
Okay, state your full name for me.
Carol Lisa Oakman.
Ms. Oatman, you are charged with 1 offense of aggravated stalking. Unfortunately, because of the nature of the charge, I'm not authorized to set bail for you today. Only a Superior Court judge can do that. Therefore, there will be a no bond. Do you understand the charge as well as the no bond?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. And then your bond hearing will be September the 16th, 2022 via Zoom at 8:30 a.m. Do you understand the 2 different hearing dates?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
I did.
Let me locate it here. Okay, looks like it says you refuse to complete it. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions to see if you qualify, or are you just not interested in court-appointed counsel?
You can ask me.
So, are you currently employed?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you give me your monthly income, estimated monthly income?
About 2,500.
A month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So based upon your response, you do qualify for court-appointed counsel. So I will appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Oatman.
Thank you, Judge.
State your full name for the record for me.
Zion Preston.
Okay, and is your first name spelled K-A-Z-I-A?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Preston, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal damage in the 2nd degree. Your bond amount is $4,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
If you can make bond, there will be special conditions included on your bond order, okay, as a condition of your release. The first condition is you're to have no contact with an individual by the name of Alan Brooks because he is the alleged victim in the case, which means you must stay away absolutely, directly, indirectly, by mail, by email, by pager, by telephone, by social media, by third person, from Mr. Brooks' home, his workplace, and also of any immediate family members of any witnesses. Secondly, because the alleged incident occurred at 609 Red Fox Trail, Jonesboro, Georgia, 30238, you're not to return to that location while you're out on bond. Is that your primary residence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then you will have to make other arrangements. However, I will include a provision in the order that within 10 days of your release, you can schedule an appointment with the sheriff office to accompany you to that location to retrieve any undisputed personal property.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that that is your next court date.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when it asks you, did you have a job on your application, you put not applicable, does that mean you're employed or unemployed?
I'm employed. Well, I don't think I'm gonna be, employed when I get back, so that's why I put in there.
Okay, well, that's not a question. Are you employed or are you not employed? It's a yes or a no.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and give me your estimated monthly income.
It'll be 1,500.
Okay. A month?
Yes, ma'am. No, every 2 weeks. I'm sorry.
Okay. Bi-weekly,
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
no problem. So based on your response, you do qualify for court-appointed counsel. So I will appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you have any questions, Ms. Preston?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. State your full name for the record for me.
Kiana Radford.
Ms. Radford, you've been charged with 1 charge of criminal criminal damage in the second degree. Your bond amount is $4,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
If you can make bond, there will be also a special condition included on your bond order. Because Brittany Cole is the alleged victim in the case, you're to have no contact, which means you must stay away absolutely, directly, indirectly, by mail, by email, by pager, by telephone, via social media. You also cannot contact Ms. Cole through a third party. You must stay away from her home, her workplace, and immediate family members of any witnesses. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, you cannot violate any laws while out on bond. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Do you understand that that's your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
Yes, ma'am.
And based on your application, you're currently unemployed?
Yes, ma'am.
So you would qualify for court-appointed counsel, so I am going to approve the request. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Radford.
Thank you, Judge.
State your full name for me.
Yanni Tyson.
Spell your first name for me, Ms. Tyson.
YAHNIE.
Okay. You've been charged with 1 count of battery. Your bond amount is $5,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 13th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing or keep it on the court's calendar?
Keep it on the calendar.
Okay. Now, did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel? Because I don't see one for you. Let me see.
Yes, ma'am.
Did complete one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me see if I can locate it. Some reason I don't have it here.
You should have that first one.
So I don't have a court-appointed form for you. I have to see what happened to it because I don't see it in the documents they provided back to me. And you're certain you completed one today?
Yes, ma'am.
Tyson? Okay, I have to see if I can locate it from the jail. See if, can you tell me what your monthly income is?
I get paid every 2 weeks.
I'm sorry. Well, first, are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what is your monthly income?
1,500.
A month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you would qualify for a court-appointed attorney? So I'll have to locate your application. Once I do, then I will approve the request for court-appointed counsel. Okay? You have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes,
Ms. Tyson's, it is in the email, it's number 33.
33?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
So it is in there, it's sent over.
okay, I'm at 33. Okay, is this the last female inmate?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay, I'll take her and then I'll briefly go off the record to locate the code appointed form for Ms. Tyson. Okay, state your full name for the record for me. Okay, Ms. White, you've been charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence. Your total bond amount is $5,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I have a question.
okay, well, let me finish and I'll allow you to ask questions. I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 13th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Do you understand that that's your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because it's a misdemeanor, you do have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. Would you like to waive it or keep it on the court's calendar? If you're unsure, then I would recommend you keep it on the calendar. Okay,
Your Honor, what was the total bond amount?
I'm sorry,
What was the total bond amount?
5,000?
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Okay. With respect to, if you can't make bail, there will be certain conditions included, special conditions included on your bond order. The first condition is you're to have no contact with the alleged victim in the case, by the name of Sanaya White, that's Siani White. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, that
Okay, who's that?
my sister.
Okay, that's the alleged victim in the case, which means you must stay away, absolutely, directly, indirectly, by mail, by email, by pager, by telephone. You cannot contact her through third person or social media. You must stay away from Ms. White's home, her workplace, as well as any immediate family members of any witnesses. Secondly, because the alleged incident occurred at 5768 Highway 85, apartment 17F, Riverdale, Georgia, you're not to return to that location while you're out on bond. Is that your primary residence?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if that's your primary residence, you will have to make arrangements to stay somewhere else while you're out on bond. However, I will include a provision in the order that will allow you to make an appointment with the sheriff's office within 10 days of your release to retrieve any undisputed personal property from that location. Lastly, you cannot violate any laws while out on bond. Do you understand the conditions of your bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll take any questions now.
I have a question. How I got a warrant for that, and I was not there when the cops came.
Okay, well, I remember in my opening remarks, I said I'm not here to try your case today. So that's information that you can provide to your attorney. Did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
I don't know.
Okay, let me check the file. I'm gonna briefly go off. I believe she did, correct? Yeah, let me briefly go off the record and for some reason I'm missing pages 27, 28 through 33, I guess. So I'm gonna briefly go off the record to see if I can locate them.
She's number 34, Your Honor.
Okay, 34, okay, thank you. Okay, you're back on the record, Ms. White. Okay, Ms. White, I do have a court appointed form from you, but it's not completed. It's like, it appears you started with just your name. So I will need to ask you some additional questions to see if you qualify for a court appointed attorney if you need one. Do you mind answering, do you have any objections to answering a few questions regarding your application for court appointed counsel? Okay. Is that a yes, you don't mind answering the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can I get your date of birth?
March 5th, 2002.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
March 5th, 2002.
Okay. And your current address?
5758 Highway 85, Riverdale, Georgia.
And what's a good contact number for you?
Five oh four
504
877
877
0717.
0717.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I got 504 877 0717. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you currently employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can you give me your average monthly income?
2 weeks.
Bi-weekly. So what you make bi-weekly?
400.
400 bi-weekly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Ms. Woods, you do qualify for court appointed counsel, so I will approve the request. Do you have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's all, if you know.
Okay, thank you, Deputy.
Okay, you have a good day.
You too.
My name is Samuel Terry Anderson.
Hey, Mr. Anderson.
How you doing?
Good, how are you? Mr. Anderson, you've been charged with 2 violations or 2 offenses. The first is violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, and the second charge is improper turn signal. Your bond amount for the violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act is $7,500. Your bond amount for improper turn signal is $500. Therefore, your total bond amount is $8,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Okay, can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. You understand that that's your next court date, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, it appears you refused to complete the court appointed counsel form. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions if you're interested in court appointed counsel, sir?
Now I'm gonna get my own attorney.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You sure you don't want to have one in place just in case? Are you?
No, ma'am, I'm good.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Barnett. Hello, Judge.
Good morning or good afternoon. How are you doing today, Mr. Barnett?
Partly cloudy, slight chance of sun.
You've been charged with 1 count of exploitation of an elderly person. Your bond amount is $6,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
I know, not really.
You said not really?
Yes,
You said not really, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you would like, I can read the particulars in the warrant, the facts in the warrant, if you would like. It's up to you.
Did I agree or disagree with whatever was written?
No, because remember, we're not here to try your case today. I'm only here to inform you of the charges against you and to set bail for you. You understand that?
Heard.
Okay. Okay. Your next court date is September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. That'll be your preliminary hearing. You understand that? That's your next court date, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, it does appear that you completed a request for court-appointed counsel. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So it does appear that you qualify for court-appointed counsel based on your application, so I will approve it. Do you have any question?
Quick question on the record. Is it a violation of any type of act if anything was falsely added or written on a police report or anything added to make this like actual crime? Is that a crime to add that?
Well, sir, I can't offer you any legal advice. That's something you're gonna have to direct to your attorney. And so I have appointed counsel for you, so you're more than welcome to speak with your attorney about any questions you have about the charge. Any other questions?
That'll be all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barnett.
All right, have a nice one. Clear. Sheldon.
Good afternoon. State your full name for me, sir.
Sheldon Gerard Curtis Clayton.
Spell that for me.
SHELDON-CURTIS. Last name
Your last name.
CLITT.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Well, we just have Sheldon. You gave me a couple of I thought it said at least two other names. I got Sheldon J. Is that your first name, Sheldon?
Yes.
Okay. And then your last name is spelled CLIETT? Okay. Sir, you've been charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Now, I had a question. My concern is that you were just recently sentenced for violation for criminal trespass on or about May 3rd of 2022. Does that sound familiar to you?
It does.
Huh?
It does, correct, yes.
Okay, so you understand you're on probation for that?
Yes.
And then your current charge is also criminal trespass at the airport. You understand that?
Yes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and set your bond because you do have a prior history of criminal trespass, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and set your bond amount at $2,500. You understand the bond amount as well as the charge?
I understand.
You do understand?
I understand.
Okay, can you make bond?
I cannot.
I've scheduled your next court date for September the 13th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Do you understand that that's your next court date?
I understand.
And did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
Yes.
Okay, now you put here that you're homeless, you're unemployed.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to hear that, sir. So I'm gonna go ahead and approve a court-appointed attorney for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Just for verification purposes, my next court date is September 13th, 2022, correct?
Yeah, at 8:30 via Zoom.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cooper.
I'm sorry, deputies. What happened to Caldwell?
My apologies, Your Honor. Take a seat. Caldwell.
It's out of order on our form, Your Honor.
Well, was supposed to be out the Barnett on the one that was sent by the jail. You guys have a different list?
He's right here.
I usually go by the list that you guys send me, I guess, to help. But what list are you guys going by?
No, you're right, Your Honor. I just kind of went out of order. My apologies.
That's okay. Because sometimes it's not quite in alphabetical order, but I do it because I assume that's better to go by your list than the alphabetical order list. But you can tell me with this.
This is Caldwell, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Caldwell, you've been charged with 2 offenses. The first offense is giving a false name, address, date of birth. And the second offense is possession of a firearm by a felon. Your bond amount for giving a false name, address, or date of birth is $1,500. Your bond amount for possession of a firearm by a felon is $10,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount? So your total bond amount is $11,500. Can you make bond? Yes or no? I didn't hear that, sir.
I said yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. I've scheduled your next court date for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that's your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you also completed a request for court-appointed counsel. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So based upon your response, you do qualify for court-appointed counsel. Therefore, I will appoint an attorney. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Caldwell.
Cool.
Quadarius Dontrell Cooper.
Mr. Cooper, you've been charged with 2 charges. The first charge is possession of marijuana, less than an ounce. And then the second charge is possession of a firearm by a felon. Your bond amount for the possession of marijuana is $1,500. Your bond amount for the possession of a firearm by a felon is $10,000. Therefore, your total bond amount is $11,500. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that's your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and it does appear that you also completed an application for court-appointed counsel. You indicated you have a job, but you didn't provide me with your monthly income. Can you give me an estimate now?
7,000 a month.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
7,000 a month.
Okay, 7,000 a month. Okay, so based on your response, sir, you do not qualify for court-appointed counsel, therefore you will have to hire your own. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Mario. You don't need an interpreter, do you?
I believe deputies, does he need an interpreter?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, do you need an interpreter?
No.
Okay, great. State your full name for me.
Tasha Perillo.
Okay. Sir, you've been charged with 3 offenses. The first offense is burglary. The second offense is aggravated assault. The third offense is criminal damage in the 2nd degree. Your bond amount for the burglary is $25,000. Your bond amount for the aggravated assault is $20,000. Your bond amount for the criminal damage in the 2nd degree is $5,000. Therefore, your total bond amount is $50,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes.
Can you make bond?
No.
I scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that that's your next court date, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And it appears you completed an application for court-appointed counsel. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you indicated you're currently unemployed. Is that correct, sir?
Correct.
So therefore you would qualify for court-appointed counsel. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Robles.
State your full name for me.
Diego Gale Robles Escarino.
Okay, and spell your first name for me.
Diego, D-I-E-G-O.
Okay, I didn't hear you. You said Diego?
D-I-E-G-O.
Okay, is that your first name?
Yeah.
Okay. And last name is Robles, R-O-B-L-E-S. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. You've been charged with 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of a Schedule 1 controlled substance. Your bond amount is $7,500. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yeah.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you understand that is your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's
Now,
September 17th?
no, September 14th.
Oh, 14th. All right.
You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
I don't think I did.
You don't think you did?
No.
Let me just check real quick here. Well, I do have one that it appears to have your signature on it.
Okay.
Your date of birth is March 9th, 2002. Is that you?
September 3rd, 2004.
You said, oh, September 3rd. And you live in Ellenwood, Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, so do you now recall completing the application, sir?
I recall now.
Okay. So based on your response, you do qualify for a court-appointed counsel, so I will approve one. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, state your full name for me.
Marion Felix.
I didn't hear you, sir.
Shamarion Felix.
Mr. Felix, you've been charged with one count of battery. Your bond amount is $5,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 13th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing or keep it on the court's calendar?
On the court calendar.
Okay.
You said 13?
Yes, September the 13th. Okay. Now, did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
No.
Okay. Because I have one with your name on it. You don't recall completing it? You say you live in Stockbridge?
No.
You recall completing a court-appointed counsel form, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I said I did.
Okay, you said you did. Okay. I'm having trouble hearing.
Go! Everybody quiet.
Okay. Based on your application, you do qualify, so I will approve one for you. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. This is the one who needed a Spanish interpreter.
Okay. And what's his name?
Faster.
Okay. I believe Ms. Toles.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm present.
Okay, if you could ask him to state his full name for the record for me.
Hola, señor, buenos días. Diga su nombre completo para que conste en el acta, por favor.
Karl-Heinz Fasterben Olivo.
Karl-Heinz Fasterben Olivo.
Karl-Heinz Fasterben.
Carl Hines Fastavend Olivo.
Okay. Sir, you've been charged with 2 offenses.
Señora, usted se le acusa de 2 delitos.
The first charge is battery.
La primera acusación es de agresión física.
The second charge is terroristic threats.
La segunda acusación es de amenazas terroristas.
The bond amount for the battery is $5,000.
La fianza para el delito de agresión física se le impone a $5,000.
The bond amount for the terroristic threats is $2,000.
Se le impone una fianza de $2,000 por el delito de amenazas terroristas.
Perdón, no escuché eso.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, Your Honor.
Okay, you can ask him to repeat it.
Oh, is it okay if I repeat, Your
Yes.
Honor? Okay. Entonces, la fianza para el delito de agresión física es de $5,000. La fianza para amenazas terroristas es $2,000. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
¿Entiende, señor, las acusaciones y también las fianzas?
Sí.
Yes.
Does he understand that his total bond amount is $15,000?
And the interpreter has made an error, Your Honor. I'm so sorry. The interpreter thought that she heard 5,000 for battery and 2,000 for terroristic threats. Did I hear?
No, it's 10,000.
10,000 for terroristic threats.
Yes.
Okay.
So you want to correct that?
Yes, ma'am. Perdón, señor, me tengo que corregir. La fianza para el delito de agresión física es de $5,000. La fianza para el delito de amenazas terroristas es $10,000. En total, la fianza es $15,000.
Okay, can you ask him again if he understands that his bond amount is $15,000?
Ahora, entiende, señor, que la fianza está a $15,000.
Sí.
Yes.
Secondly, I've scheduled his preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom.
También ya le estoy programando su audiencia preliminar. Se señala para el 14 de septiembre 2022 a las 8:30 de la mañana. Es por medio de Zoom.
Does he understand?
¿Entiende, señor?
Tengo una pregunta.
Yes, I have a question.
Yo no tengo ningún teléfono para hablar a una persona. Todos se quedan en la casa. Teléfono.
I don't have a phone to call someone. Everything was left at the house.
Okay, please inform him that I'm not involved in any type of arrangement for telecommunications, so that's something he could speak with the jail about.
Bueno, señor, no estoy involucrada en comunicación telefónica. Eso usted lo tendría que averiguar con los de la cárcel.
Okay. Thirdly, he does qualify for court-appointed counsel. Therefore, I will appoint an attorney to represent him. Does he have any other questions?
Además, señor, usted sí cumple los criterios para un abogado de oficio, así que voy a designar un abogado de oficio para representarle. ¿Tiene usted alguna pregunta más?
Quiero hablar con un amigo, pero no tengo el número. No tengo el número de teléfono.
I would like to call a friend, but I don't have the phone number.
Okay. So again, please advise him I'm not involved in any type of arrangements for telecommunications. Therefore, he will have to speak to the jail. And let him know that that will conclude his first appearance hearing for today.
Muy bien, señor. Lamentablemente no participo en los arreglos de telecomunicaciones y repito que tendría que averiguar eso con los de la cárcel. Su comparecencia inicial ya se concluye, señor.
Thank you.
Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Toes. I
Certainly,
think we
Your
have
Honor.
one more. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, state your full name for me.
Yeah, with Fleming.
Okay, Mr. Flemings, you've been charged with 1 count of battery. Your bond amount is $6,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount? I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, can you make bond?
Yes.
Okay, sir, if you can make bond, there will be special conditions included on your bond order. The first condition is you're to have no contact with the alleged victim, specifically Taisha Holmes. Do you recognize that name?
Yes.
Okay, who's that to you?
My fiance. She's on my other bond also.
Okay, so there's a no contact. Okay, so you must stay away, absolutely, directly, indirectly, by mail, by email, by telephone, by social media. You can't contact her through a third person. You can't go to her home, her workplace. And also you must stay away from any immediate family members of any witnesses. Secondly, because the alleged incident occurred at 939 Castleton Way, Forestport, Georgia 30297, you're not to return to that location while you're out on bond. Is that your primary residence?
Yes, it is. This incident happened.
Okay, well, sir, I'm only going by the warrant. If that's your primary resident, you will have to make arrangements to stay somewhere else while you're out on bond. However, I will include a provision in the order that will allow you to make an appointment with the sheriff office within 10 days of your release to retrieve any undisputed personal property from that location. Lastly, you cannot violate any laws while out on bond. Do you understand that to be the special conditions on your bond order as a condition of your release?
Yes.
Secondly, I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 13th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing or keep it on the calendar? Would you like to waive it or keep it on the calendar?
I'll keep it on the calendar.
Okay. Also, you did not complete a request for court-appointed counsel. It says you refuse. Would you like to reconsider your request to apply for court-appointed counsel, sir?
At this point, I don't believe I'm gonna need counsel for this case.
Okay, do you want to just see if you qualify just in case?
You can. I have another case. I qualify.
You have another case you qualify?
No, I'm already presently with the public defender's office on another charge.
Okay, well, you'll need to have this in charge included for them to represent you on both. So you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is your contact number?
404 259 9581.
Okay, and are you currently employed?
Self-employed.
And give me your monthly income.
Probably about $3,000 a month.
Okay. So you will qualify for this charge too, sir. So I'm going to go ahead and approve that request. Do you have any questions? No questions, sir?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And this is Mr. Hernandez. He will need assistance of interpreter, Your Honor.
He does?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Toles?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor, I'm present.
Okay. Can you ask him to say his full name for the record?
Certainly. Buenos días, señor. ¿Cuál es su nombre completo para que conste en el acta?
Rafael Sánchez Hernández.
I'm Rafael Sanchez Hernandez.
Please inform Mr. Hernandez he's been charged with 3 offenses.
Señor Hernández se le acusa de 3 delitos.
The first charge of battery.
La primera acusación es de agresión física.
The second charge is criminal trespass, damage to property.
El segundo delito es entrada ilícita, daños a propiedad ajena.
Okay, and then the third charge, I'm sorry, so do you mind if you turn on your camera? And then the third charge is robbery by sudden snatching.
My apologies.
No problem.
Let's see. There it is. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Sometimes I click it and I think I've double clicked it and it goes back off. I apologize.
No problem.
And the third charge was robbery by sudden snatching, Your Honor, is that correct?
Yes. Mhm.
Y luego el tercer delito es robo por arrancar repentinamente un artículo ajeno.
The bond amount for the battery is $5,000.
La fianza por lo de agresión física es de $5,000.
The bond amount for the criminal trespass damage to property is $2,000.
La fianza para el delito de entrada ilícita, daños a propiedad ajena, es de $2,000.
The bond amount for the robbery by sudden snatching is $3,000.
Y luego la fianza para robo por medio de arrancarle algo repentinamente a alguien es de $3,000.
Therefore, the total bond amount is $10,000.
En total, la fianza total es de $10,000.
Does he understand the charges as well as the bond amount?
¿Entiende, señor, las acusaciones y también la fianza? Yes.
Can he make bond?
¿Usted va a poder depositar fianza para salir, señor?
Una pregunta tengo.
I have a question.
Okay. I will take any questions after completing his first appearance hearing.
Yo tomaré sus preguntas, señor, una vez que complete esa sesión de preguntas que tengo para usted en esta audiencia.
Okay, if you can ask if he can make bond.
¿Nos puede decir, señor, si va a poder depositar fianza y salir?
If he's unsure, he could just say he's unsure.
Si no está seguro, nada más diga que no está seguro.
No,
The interpreter needs to ask him to repeat. ¿Cómo dice?
no puedo.
I cannot.
Okay. I've scheduled your first preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom.
Ya programé, señor, su audiencia preliminar para el 14 de septiembre de 2022 a las 8:30 de la mañana por medio de Zoom.
Lastly, it appears that he was unable to complete the court-appointed counsel form. Does he mind if I ask him a few questions to see if he qualifies?
Por último, señor, parece que usted no completó del todo la solicitud para el abogado de oficio. ¿Le puedo hacer unas preguntas para completar el formulario?
Sí.
Yes.
Is he currently employed?
¿Está trabajando actualmente, señor?
And how much is his monthly income?
¿Y cuánto está ganando al mes, señor?
Bueno, como el problema con ese señor que tuve, somos socios del trabajo.
Well, the problem with this issue that I had with that man is that we're business partners.
Okay. So again, my question is, can he give me an estimate of his monthly income?
Sí, señor, pero la pregunta que le estoy haciendo es que si usted me puede decir, calculando estimado, cuáles son sus ingresos mensuales.
$3,000 a $4,000.
$4,000?
Ajá.
$4,000.
Okay, based on his response, he does not qualify for court-appointed counsel. I will take any questions now.
Basado en la respuesta que dio, usted no cumple los criterios para un abogado de oficio. Ahora, señor, puedo entretener sus preguntas.
Bueno, como le digo, fui socio con ese señor de una construcción de $13,000 a $14,000.
As I said, I was a business partner with this gentleman, and it was for between $13,000 to $14,000.
Okay, what was his question? Does he have any question?
¿Y la pregunta cuál era? ¿Tiene alguna pregunta?
Me está acusando a mí de
He's accusing me of robbery.
violación y todo eso, pero yo no fui a ni siquiera traspasarme. Yo le pregunté al dueño de la renta que iba a hablar con el señor.
And I didn't even commit trespassing. I just went to ask the owner.
Yo llegué bien.
Okay, well, let me stop him. Tell him that again, as I indicated in my opening remarks, we're not here to try his case, and that will conclude his appearance here.
Permítame interrumpirle, señor. No estamos aquí para poner el caso en proceso de juicio hoy mismo, pero su audiencia preliminar queda concluida.
Thank you.
Gracias, señor.
Okay, sir, state your full name for me. Before we get started, Ms. Tolles, I believe that was the last defendant. Is that correct? They needed an interpreter. Is that correct, deputies?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Okay, you are free to go, Ms. Tolles.
Thank you, Your Honor. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, so are you Mr. Ivy, correct? Ivey?
Yes.
Mr. Ivy, you've been charged with one count of exploitation, exploitation of an elderly or disabled person. Your bond amount is $6,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes.
You may bond.
Okay.
Say yes?
Yes.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that that's your next court date, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I've also approved a court-appointed attorney for you based on your application. Do you have any questions?
No.
Thank you.
All right. Well, what's going on? Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Okay, so deputies, I'm gonna be doing is this Mr. Johnson?
This is Luciano Vincent.
Okay, yeah, okay, that's great. I'm gonna do the extradition hearing last.
Yes, Your Honor.
Spell your last name for me, sir.
Loicono.
Okay, how do you pronounce that?
Luciano, Loicono. Whatever's easy for you, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to make sure I pronounce it correctly, but I don't think I'm going to have much success today. So I will give you your charge. You've been charged with entering an automobile without the consent of the property owner. Your bond amount is $10,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Kind of. Person was my neighbor.
Okay, again, I'm not here to try your case today, sir. So you understand, my question was, do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount? Not that you agree, but do you understand?
Yes, so you're saying that it was 10,000?
10,000.
Okay.
Your next court date will be September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that's your next court date, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
I'm hoping so, yes.
Okay. I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for, well, I've already given you a preliminary hearing. Did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel? It appears you did. Based on your response, you do qualify for court-appointed counsel. Therefore, I will approve your application. Do you have any questions?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Morales.
State your full name for me.
Alex Brian Morales.
Ms. Morales, you've been charged with one count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Your bond amount is $1,500. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
No.
Can you make bond?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 13th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that that's your next hearing date, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to waive your preliminary hearing?
Yeah.
You say yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you waive it, then you'll need to get a form from the deputy, a waiver form from the deputy to waive it. You understand that?
Yeah, I filled out the form already.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
I filled out the form already.
Well, no, the waiver. You want to waive your preliminary hearing. That's your next court date. So the preliminary hearing will be to determine whether or not there's evidence to continue to detain you. If you bond out, then it's automatically waived. If you're unsure, I could just keep it on the court's calendar. It's up to you. You understand, sir?
No, not really.
Okay, so your next court date is scheduled for September the 13th, 2022. You have the option of waiving that preliminary hearing today if you would like. Otherwise, if you bond out, it will automatically be waived. What would you prefer?
I think I'm gonna just bond out.
Okay. Now, you completed a request for court-appointed counsel. Based on your response here, you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney. Therefore, I will appoint one to represent you. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, state your full name for me.
Murray.
I said state your full name, sir.
Oh, Corey LaShawn Murray, I'm sorry.
Okay, Mr. Murray, you've been charged with two separate counts of entering and dwelling of another without authorization. Your bond amount for each count is $25,000. Therefore, your total bond amount is $50,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
What does it mean by, is that burglary?
Yes, burglary.
Why is
And
it
if you had
charged?
it's two separate offenses, so that's why you have on two separate dates. That's why you have two separate charges. Apparently, you entered the same home the following day, allegedly. I say allegedly. That's what the affidavit states. So again, do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount? Can you make bond?
No.
Okay.
Not that.
Okay, I've scheduled if you can make bond, there will be special conditions included on the bond order, which means you're not to return to the premises, which is the incident location located at 260 Main Street, apartment B5, Forest Park, Georgia. You understand that? If you can make bond. And then I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. Again, the purpose of the preliminary hearing will be to determine if there's sufficient evidence to continue to detain you if you cannot make bond. You understand that? Okay. Lastly, I see you did complete a request for court-appointed counsel. Sir, I'm not finished, sir. I'm not finished. Please don't be disrespectful. I'm trying to help you. You completed a request for court-appointed counsel. So based on your response, I will approve the request. Do you have any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello, state your full name for me.
Michael Jordan.
Spell that for me.
My last name?
Yes.
O-R-N-E-L-A-S.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have the right person here. Sir, you've been charged with two violations. The first offense is violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. And then the second offense is crossing a guard line with either drug, guns, or alcohol. Your bond amount for a violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act is $7,500, which is $7,500. Your bond amount for crossing the guard line is $5,000. So therefore, your total bond amount is $12,500. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. You understand that's your next court date, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, it appears you did complete the request for court-appointed counsel. Based on your response, you do qualify for court-appointed counsel. Therefore, I will approve the request. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Parker.
Okay. State your full name for me, sir.
Trey John Chris Parker.
Said Parker, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Parker, you've been charged with 1 count of party to a crime in violation of Georgia law. Your bond amount is $3,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 13th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that's your next court date, sir?
No.
Yes, you understand that's your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you look like you completed a request for court-appointed counsel. Well, you at least completed the first 2 questions. You stated that you do not have a job. Is that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
So based on your response, you do qualify for court-appointed counsel. So I will approve the application. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. State your full name for me.
Joseph Pope.
Mr. Pope, you've been charged with 2 charges. Violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act when intent to either manufacture, sell, distribute, or deliver controlled substance. And then possession, being in possession of a weapon doing a crime. That's your second charge. Your bond amount for the first charge, a violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, is $10,000. Your bond amount for the weapons, possession of a weapon doing a crime, is $10,000. Therefore, your total bond amount is $20,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes.
Can you make bond?
Yeah.
You say no?
I say yes.
Yes, you can. Okay. I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that's your next court date, sir?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And lastly, it looks like you refuse to complete a request for court-appointed counsel. Do you not need a court-appointed attorney, sir? Would you like to reconsider the request for court-appointed counsel?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Though.
You're gonna hire your own?
I'm gonna have my own attorney. Thank you. Though.
Okay. Okay, so do you have any questions?
No, ma'am. I'm good.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. State your full name for me. Spell that for me.
S.A.
S.A.?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sir, you've been charged with 4 offenses. The first offense is concealing an identity of a motor vehicle. The second charge is defective equipment, windshield. The third charge is violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act, possession of crack cocaine. And then the fourth charge is possession of drug-related items. Your bond amount for the concealing identity of a motor vehicle is $500. Your bond amount for the defective equipment is $500. Your bond amount for violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act is $7,500. And then your bond amount for the use or possession of drug-related items is $1,500. Therefore, your total bond amount is $10,000. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you make bond?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, I've scheduled your preliminary hearing for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. It's going to be via Zoom. That's your next court date, sir. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then it appears you did complete a request for court-appointed counsel. You're currently unemployed? Is that correct, sir? Okay.
Yes.
Based on your response, you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney, so I will approve one for you. Do you have any questions?
It's September 14th,
Yeah, that's your preliminary hearing. That's your next court date.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. Thank you,
Right.
sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir, state your full name for me.
Hey, Rick Solrich.
Okay, sir. So you've been charged with 7 offenses. The first offense is failure to yield in a right-of-way. The second charge is possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. The third charge is possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. The fourth charge is use or possession of drug-related items. The fifth charge is violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. There's also a charge of having dangerous drug with intent to sell, distribute, and then open container. Okay, so based on the type of offenses, sir, as well as the fact that I understand that you're still on probation, I'm not authorized to set bail for you today. So therefore, your preliminary hearing will be held September the 14th, 2022, and then your bond hearing will be September 16th, 2022. Do you understand the charge as well as the no bond? You understand that, sir? It's no bond.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you complete a request for court-appointed counsel?
Yeah.
So based upon your responses, you do qualify for a court-appointed attorney. So I will approve that request. Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you.
How you doing?
Good, how are you today, sir? Can you state your full name for me?
Rain spell.
Spell. You have been charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana, less than an ounce, and then 1 count of violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. The possession of marijuana charge, bond amount is $1,500. The violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act is $10,000. Therefore, your total bond amount is $11,500. Do you understand the charges as well as your bond amount?
Yes.
Can you make bond?
The address that I put down is the address that I have on my ID.
That's not what I asked you, sir. First, can you make can you make bond? Yes or no?
No, ma'am, I can't.
And I've scheduled your next court date for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that's your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then it looks like you completed the application for court-appointed counsel, but you said NA, I guess that's not applicable. Does that mean you're employed?
Yeah, that means.
I'm sorry, Deputies, can you keep it down? I'm having trouble hearing. Okay, sir. You say you're currently unemployed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so therefore you will qualify for a court-appointed attorney. I will take any questions now, sir. You don't have a question?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, give me your full name. Spell that for me.
THOMAS.
Okay, sir. You've been charged with violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. Based on the fact that you're still currently on probation, I'm not authorized to set bail for you today. Do you understand the charge as well as the no bond? Okay, sir, I've scheduled your, let me finish. I've scheduled your next court date for September the 14th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. and then your bond hearing will be September 16th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. Do you understand the two different hearing dates?
What you say?
The first is your preliminary hearing, so that's to determine if there's sufficient evidence to continue to detain you. That's September 14th, 2022. And then your bond hearing will be held September 16th, 2022. So you have two different court dates. You understand that?
13 and the 16th.
No, the 14th and the 16th.
The 13 and the 16th.
No, 14th. 1-4. 1-4. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. I've scheduled your here. You did complete a request for court-appointed counsel. You said you are employed, but you're currently in training, so you haven't received any compensation, sir, to this point. Can you explain your response? You said training.
Yes, ma'am. Training.
So you haven't received any, you haven't received a paycheck yet? Okay.
In school.
You're in school? Okay.
Training.
So you will qualify for court-appointed counsel. Do you have any questions?
You know what the violate probation at?
No, I can only tell you based on my review of your records, it appears that on March 2nd of 2021, you were sentenced to 2 year 9 months. You sentenced to probation for 2 years, 9 months, and 18 days for a possession charge. Is that familiar to you? Okay, well, that's what I had. That's what appeared in your criminal history today. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
For Attorney General.
Okay, please stand straight up, Mr. Turner. Thank you. Mr. Turner, you've been charged with 1 count of theft of services. Your bond amount is $2,000. Do you understand the charge as well as your bond amount?
Yes, ma'am, but my attorney
Let me
was.
finish. That's not my question. Let me finish. If you understand the charge as well as the bond amount, correct? Okay, I'll take any questions when I finish. Your preliminary hearing will be scheduled for September the 13th, 2022 at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. You understand that's your next court date, sir?
Yeah,
okay,
you said one more time, please.
Okay, yes, your next court date, which is your preliminary hearing, is scheduled for September 13th, 2022. Do have the option of waiving a preliminary hearing since your charge is a misdemeanor? Would you like to waive it or keep it on the calendar?
Oh, ma'am, because it's stuff wrong.
I didn't hear your response, sir.
I said no, ma'am, because it's stuff wrong on there.
Okay. Did you indicate if you can make bond or not for your charge? Do you know if you can make bond?
Yes, I can, but my lawyer was saying that I would have a OY signature bond.
No, sir, there's no signature bond per the order of the chief judge, so that we don't give signature bonds. I've scheduled your, let's see, I see that you refuse to complete a request for court-appointed counsel, so you already have your own attorney?
Yeah, I already have one hired.
So you already hired one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sir, that will conclude your first appearance for today.
That's coming up with the future of your own.
I'm sorry, sir, before we get to the extradition hearings, I do have a order for Lisa Michelle Stevens. Do you know her status?
Better be done by, you said she bonded out.
Okay.
Your Honor, the president is Mr. Johnson and Mike Pierce.
We're gonna do this. Can we do them in alphabetical order? Is that an alphabetical order?
Yes, Your Honor, this all three of them are present.
Okay, they are present, great. Okay. So I'm going to attempt to do your extradition hearing together. However, I will give you the name of the transfer of the demanding state before we begin. So anytime when I talk about the particular charge is in relation to that charge pending in a particular state per the warrant that I have received for all inmates. Okay, so let's get started here. Give me 1 minute. So good afternoon, Mr. Johnson, Mr. McKnight, and Mr. Pierce. My name again is Judge Tamika West, and I'm a magistrate court judge in Clayton County. This hearing is what is called an extradition hearing. All of the things that I have advised everyone of early on also apply in your case, but your hearing is just a little bit different from the other first appearance hearings that have taken place today. First, you do not have charges pending against you here in Clayton County, Georgia. You have been brought to court today because you have charges pending against you in another state, and they're requesting that you return to that state to answer the charges against you. Specifically, Mr. Johnson, are you in fact Tyler Barron Johnson? Please raise your hand so I can identify. Yes, okay, and is that your full legal name?
It's Tyler Barron Johnson.
Okay. Now, Mr. Johnson, based on the information I have, it appears that the state of South Carolina is demanding that you return to that state to answer to a charge for the offense of forgery. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's what we'll be, that's what your extradition hearing is about, is whether or not you're going to voluntarily agree or contest. When I finish with the other inmates, I'll give you, all of you guys, your statement of rights as to whether or not you want to contest, extradition, or waive. So extradition just means transfer to the other, back to the state that's demanding that you return. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. The next inmate I have is Mr. McKnight. Mr. McKnight, according to the warrant that I have, is the state of, let's see here, the state of Ohio is requesting that you return to answer charges against you for an offense of weapon under disability. Do you recognize that charge or the allegation?
But is that the same thing as possession of a firearm by convicted felon?
But I just have here what's in the warrant. It says, let me finish. Okay. I'm sorry, is that you speaking, Deputy?
That's me right here.
Okay. No, Mr. McKnight, it specifically says, for legal purposes, I'm not certain if it's the same as what you're referring to, but it states here is weapon under disability, and it's considered to be a felony in the state of Ohio. Do you have any affiliation with the state of Ohio?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, they're asking that you return the answer to that charge. You understand that?
That's the only charge?
It appears to be on the warrant, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. And then Mr. Pierce, with respect to you, the state of, see here, state of New York is demanding that you return, okay, to answer to the offense of criminal cell controlled substance. Do you have any affiliation with the state of New York?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they're asking that you return to answer to that charge. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
So now I'm going to give you your statements of rights as to whether or not you want to voluntarily return to that state. Okay, that's asking that you return, or whether or not you want to contest it. Now, you've been charged with being a fugitive from justice because you have pending charges in another state. This hearing is being conducted pursuant to OCGA Title 7, Chapter 13. As you've heard, it is alleged that you are charged with the crime that I identified, and the demanding states want you, the demanding states want you to return. You have a choice as to whether or not you wish to contest the extradition or waive the extradition and be returned to the other state without going through the formal extradition process. If you decide you wish to contest the extradition, which means just transfer it back to that state, the court may commit you to the county jail for an initial period of 30 days. During that time, a warrant will be prepared under the governor's signature for extradition to the other state. The court may consider allowing you to post bond, but this court is not required to do so in this case. As you're wanted by another jurisdiction, this court is not setting bond for you in your case. If you do not wish to voluntarily return to the demanding state, you may file a writ of habeas corpus to contest the extradition. The writ of habeas corpus can only contest 4 things. The first is whether the extradition documents are in order on their face. The second way you can contest is whether you are charged with a crime that actually exists in the demanding state. Thirdly, you can contest on the grounds of whether or not you are in fact the person named in the request for extradition. Fourth is whether you are in fact a fugitive from justice. Let me be clear, you cannot contest the issue of your guilt or innocence in the state of Georgia. You are entitled to the advice of counsel in contesting extradition or in deciding whether to waive extradition. If the state is unable to extradite you within 30 days, you may be committed to the county jail for an additional 60 days while awaiting your extradition. If the extradition is not completed in 90 days, then you will be released. Now, if you decide to voluntarily waive extradition and return to the state that's demanding your return, then the demanding state will have up to 60 days to travel back here to Georgia, okay, to transport you back to the demanding state. If they do not come to transport you back to the demanding state, then you will be released. Do you have any questions regarding your rights or anything that I just explained to you? First, I will ask you, Mr. Johnson, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, would you like to waive extradition or contest extradition?
Waive it.
Okay, if you want to waive it, then you'll need the deputy will give you 6 waiver forms for you to sign. I need for you to sign those waiver forms so they can return them to me, so I can then sign the extradition paper allowing you to return to the other state. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am. That means that by waiving it, I voluntarily say that they can come.
Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
With respect to you, Mr. McKnight, you also have the option to waive or contest the extradition. Okay. Would you like to waive the extradition back to, I believe it's the state of Ohio, or would you like to contest it?
Did you say if I waive it, they have 60 days to come get me?
Up to, yeah, initially 60 days, yes.
Okay. If I fight it, then they have 90 days to come get me.
Yes.
I'll waive it.
Okay, you'll waive it. So you'll also need to sign the 6 waiver forms allowing you to waive extradition and return to the state of Ohio. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Pierce, you're the last one.
Yes.
With respect to your rights, you also have the right to waive extradition or contest extradition back to the state of New York. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna waive it, man.
You're gonna waive it?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You will also need to sign the 6 waivers forms, okay? Indicating you want to waive, and then once you sign, then I will sign, and then we will process your waivers. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That will conclude your extradition hearing for today, and thank you so much for your time. Okay, deputies.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think that concludes everyone on the list. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay, if you could get the waivers over to me within the hour for each inmate, it'll be 3 sets. I will appreciate it.
Yes, Your Honor, we'll get it to you right away.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.